Good morning, Rabbi Sai. It's another beautiful day. Jonathan Stefansky's back in the house. Mordechai Seltzer back in the house. Dr. Avi Factor's back in the house. Guess who else? Shmuel. Shmuel Eliwad is back in the house. Unbelievable. Lili Nishmasi Mimarosi Rusmas Mordechai. Today's shir is sponsored by Aaron Kessler. By Aaron Kessler, Mazel Tov to Yaakov Kessler on graduating Yeshiva of Central Queens. By Loren Spigelman. In the house. In honor of finally being Messiah, mesechta shkalim. Ooh. And there's going to be some shkalim today. Eli, you always say, keep up now, catch up later. You stress the reisha, but the safe is also important. What does that mean exactly? You talking about? I thought you meant Amud Aleph and Amud Beis. It is. Shkoyach. There are kufas that I miss shir, and it's great feeling to catch up, to be caught up on all the dapim since brachas. Wow, that is very chashuv. All the dapim since brachas. Maybe all be zoicha to never fall behind again. Well, listen, that's part of the. You can't. It's something that's inevitable. Also, b'zchut shidduchim for my children. Shleim Zev ben Tzara Dvora Hindă bas Tzara and ציביה bas Tzara. He's back in the house. May they each find a zivug at the right time. They'll be machsiv, learning Torah and help them build a neshama Israel. Amen. No, so Avi, how was your trip? No, tell us. Was it good? But it was a nice get together over there.
Beautiful. You know, guys didn't know that other guys are in the shir.
Guys didn't know that other guys are in the shir. Yeah.
They're now planning soon together, get together.
They're planning now, see them together, get together, give valdig. It's unbelievable. We need to do this. We need to do more of it. I have a picture here of Avi Gargir with Harry Shalom today in Los Angeles, or yesterday in Los Angeles. That's great, but they need to get together over there. Who's that rabbi over there? Uri Ben Mattisyahu? What's his first name? Ari? There's a few brothers. He's one of them. Maybe he could get together with them. Somebody, we got to get, even if it's a small amount of people. 5 people is also good. Oh, Rabbi Yossi Klein is having a get-together on Thursday night in Muncie in his backyard by his pool, a barbecue, big barbecue. The Tehillim is all invited. The entire America is invited. RSVP. Yeah, that you don't want to come. You want to come. When am I appearing? It's like 5 o'clock in the morning here. Come right after that. MDYevent.com. Okay. What else do we have? So, first of all, I just want to repeat the 2 things that we said yesterday. Chazara, to make it a little stronger, just some people it needs to be repeated. So, first of all, I received 2 emails from people in Chicago saying, so does that mean I'm not invited to the chasana? Stop putting me on the spot. It's a small wedding. Mendy, you're invited. Mendy went to the other. Mendy flew into my daughter's. How many people are my daughter's wedding? 400 or 500 people? At least. I would love to have 500 people at the wedding. I have to be nice to my son. And his kala, whose father's watching now, so I can't be mean to them either. Okay. But that's it is what it is. Okay. What? Mother-in-law jokes. No, chutanim jokes. Yeah, soon, it's coming. First, after the chasana. So, yeah, you in Chicago, you're uninvited. Sorry. Yoel, yeah, what am I going to do? The CEO is not, no one. There's 0, no one. Sorry. Okay. Arya Weil, you're going to take care of Yoel that day. You're going to bring him to Slurpee somewhere. I'll pay for the Slurpees. All right. Also, just to reiterate, If somebody was thinking about giving a nice donation to MDY, now is the time. Why? Because although the Gemara, the whole thing, the Gemara campaign is not really an MDY initiative, it's Yossi Klein and Hassan Gans. They're doing it, putting it together, but obviously we all benefit from it. So it's considered a donation to MDY. You could give a donation to MDY. MDY, the best way to do it is to pay Art School directly. But if somebody needs like a tax deduction, we will somehow, I don't know how, we'll take care of it. You could, but the point is that official catering from Baltimore, not official. Don't think that. It's official catering from Baltimore is going to match the highest number given. So Mela, it's a good thing to give now. I think he's in trouble because somebody gave 10 grand, but we're looking for more than that. It's going to be a $50,000 campaign. Unbelievable. I want to tell you why it's such a beautiful campaign. Listen to this. I just got this morning. Last night, a survey went out, finally, to the 650 plus people that got Gemaras. And we got 60 responses so far. And they only forwarded me 2. Maybe these are the only 2 good ones. Yes! I started with the free Yoma Gemara, and I've been hooked ever since. I never thought I would be learning Daf Yomi, and yet here I am with no plans of stopping. You hear this, Doron? No plans of stopping. I love this shiur. It's the highlight of my day. I wake up, daven, make some coffee, and sit down to learn with Rebelli every morning. I learn it with YouTube at a later time, and absolutely, it was the spark that got me going. You can see that these are answers to different questions. Yes, send me a link to donate. I would like to donate Gemaras to other people. So you got a Gemara, now you want to donate Gemaras. Now listen to this one. This is a very long one. I only got half of it, but I saw there's another half. My name is Simcha, and you'll never believe this story. This email survey is actually a key part of it. Ever since I got the free Gemara, I watched the first video, Daf Beis, for a few minutes, then got distracted. A few days went by. Each day I was feeling guilty. You got the free Gemara on condition you learn it. I must have started and stopped that first video 4 or 5 times, never getting more than halfway through. Now, once looking into the Gemara, and Bekitzer, he says, then there's, I'll never catch up, more guilt. I would often think, let people call, I'll pay for the Gemara. Fast forward to today, around 3 hours ago, that's 65 days into Yoma, around 3 hours and 15 minutes ago, before this email survey arrived, today, I finally sat and learned the entire daf while looking inside. That is a huge accomplishment for Mr. ADD here. If this isn't a sign from Hashem, I don't know what is. I'm very grateful to whoever sponsored this Gemara. While I can't yet sponsor many, I would like to sponsor 1 or 2 so I can have the schus from the next person who gets one. Even if it takes a while, the schus from just one daf is certainly worth it. It's never too little. It's never too late. 64 days later, he learned the daf. It's unbelievable. Huh? Dailam likes this email a lot. Simcha. Okay.
He didn't give up. He just kept on going.
Every day. That Gemara did it. It's it. It's beautiful. All right. Maybe some of these guys that fell off the bandwagon, maybe they'll come back for Sukkah. Who knows? Rabbi Isai, we're holding Daf Samachay today. Samach Daled Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Now, this is the last day. This is the last day of these kind of Gemaras. And these are the Gemaras that make us wiser and smarter. So, Chaparayin, Rabbi Isai. Yesterday, we had a machloikis between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan. What happened was they brought 1 pair of goats for the Yom Kippur Avodah, and one of the goats died. Azazel, Chatas. Let's call it that Azazel died. So they bring another pair of goats. This one slips in instead of the Azazel. And the question is, which one of these 2 do we perform the Avodah? According to Rav, this guy doesn't become a dachui. We don't push him off. Therefore, we use him. Mitzvah Berisha, we use him. What happens to this guy? He goes to graze, the black guy. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, we do the avodah with him because a Baal Chai does become dachui. You could push off a Baal Chai. Once he becomes rejected, he's rejected. And therefore, this guy goes to graze. Says the Gemara, Tanan. Says in our Mishnah, She'ein chatos tzibur mesa. You know why they go to graze, either the first one or the second one, whatever you hold, they go to graze and you don't kill them, is because typically we have the idea that if a chatos, one of these 5 chatos, must die, niskapru ba'aleha, if there's a kapara, so the second one must go and die. This one doesn't die. We spare its life, we let it graze, it befalls a mum, then we sell it off. Why? Because it's a communal carbon. Okay, so you have to infer from this. You have to make a diuk, a very simple diuk. It's only because it's owned by the tzibur that it doesn't die. But if it was the same exact case with the individual, this animal would die. We'd put it in a room without any food, lock the door. Halacha Moshe Messinai. Says the Gemara, Bishloim a Rabbi Yochanan, Kedere be'Abba Amarav. Okay, so it goes like this. Here's the story, Rabbi says, here's the story. A guy had a goat, a chatos. Here, similar picture but not. He has a carbon. He designated a white goat. And the white goat ran away. Oh, Rabbi Yossi Hirsch is, but yeah, okay, he came late. It's not your fault, but you could come here to the front and say hello to your shver. To your future shver. Come here, come. There's no such thing in this in MDY. There's no camera shy people. Come here. It's your guest. You make everybody besimcha over here. No, I don't want to get over here. It's a new guy, like scared. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Naftali? And you are a chassan? You're not married yet?
No.
Mazel tov, mazel tov. So, he's shy. Get over it. Poor guy. Lamaisa Yishwer is enjoying every second now. So listen to this. Yossi Hirsch, the famous Yossi Hirsch from Kensington. Yeah, this guy.
I'm not paying tickets.
We're all invited. It's a normal chasana. Yossi Hirsch is the guy from Kensington that all his sons learned the daf, and this is Choshev, new future son-in-law, also does the daf with us.
That's not why I came.
No, why did you come?
I came because I have to give you a curse of time. Instead of sending emails, it's boring.
Yeah, you came wow.
Exactly.
No.
I came to give a tremendous eshkach for it. Why?
Yeah.
The whole corona, I was stuck at home. And whenever I got stuck and whatever, every day I watched the daf here. I watch more in your house. In your house.
Well, before you became a chassan, you were watching still?
Before.
Before you knew Yishver?
Yeah.
So Samam Shashgacha brought this. Really?
So,
1 minute. So if it's Talchan, could you play the Kalina Rebbe's thing? I want to play it.
we have
You have it. Okay, I'll play it. Me'ezer Hashem tomorrow. We'll play it b'schuscha. We'll shmooze. Very nice meeting you. Wow. Okay, let's go weiter in Shas. It's beautiful. Shkoyach for that course, I'll tell you. Wow. It's taka better than an email. Everybody else wants to sell emails. You can just come in. A personal email. Come here, stand here, and zog the email. Wow, it's unbelievable. It's mazel tov. Okay, there's a lot more. The rest you can put in an email if you want. All right, I have no idea where we're holding. Oh, we're in a very interesting, there's a long Rashi here. It's beautiful. Beautiful sugya. Oh, a guy does an Aveira. He's Machal Shabbos by mistake. He goes ahead and he brings a white goat. His goat runs away. So he goes and he purchases a black goat. Okay? Avda. Now, we find the first one. He finds the first one. According to Rebbe, he could use either one. He found one. Now he has two in front of him. He bought this to replace this, but now this one shows up. They found it, lost and found. He could use the white, he could use the black. Whichever he uses, the second one must die. Because Chatash and Skapru Ba'aleh is one of the 5 things. Number 4 on the list, must die. Okay. Chacham argue. Chacham say, if you found it before the kapara, it doesn't die. Comes Rabbi Abba and continues this. Qualifies Chachamim here. K'the Rabbi Abba Omer Rav, Omer Rabbi Abba Omer Rav, top of Samachei Amud Aleph. Hakol moedim, shim niskaber b'she'ena avuda mesa. If the kapara was with the black, then the white dies. It's only if the kapara was done with the white that the black doesn't die. You hear what's going on here? If the kapara was done with the black guy, the one that comes to, he's instead of the original, then the original must die. But if you use the kapara, you use the white guy, then the black guy is spared. Oh. If we take that for a second, look at this. Look at this case. It's almost the same case. Why? Because over here you have two whites. The whites are no good. Why? Because one of them died. So we bring in the blacks. And now, what are we going to use? We're going to use, if you use this guy, then this guy goes bye-bye. But if you use this guy, then this guy stays alive. Okay, it's the same situation. This is the replacement, black is replacement, and white is the original. Oh, hold on. So, Rebbe is going to say that the second one has the halacha like the first one. According to Rav, what do I take care of? I get rid of this guy. According to Rav, which one do I do a kapara with? He's makriv, the first one. What do I do with the second one? The second one is like achrayus. It's just here for no reason. Let me give you a mashal. Yeah. It says in the Mishnah in Avos, there's 4 midos, v'holchei limud Torah, something like that. There's 4 categories. It says that somebody who goes, ve'ena oisa, he goes to Beis Medrash ve'ena oisa. In other words, somebody who learns and doesn't understand. I thought it's very appropriate for today's sugya. A guy who goes to Beis Medrash and is having a hard time following. He gets schar. He gets schar halicha. At least he went to Beis Medrash. He doesn't understand everything, but it's better than sitting at home not doing anything. There's a mitzvah, not understanding one word of the daf, you get schar. The next one is a guy that stays at home but learns. He's learning, he understands everything. He didn't go to Beis Medrash. Doing the daf at home in bed on YouTube. No. It's also very, very chashuv. At least he understands. There's a guy that goes to Beis Medrash and understands. That's la'elo. That's everybody from tomorrow until the end of the Masechta. Smooth sailing. And through Sukkah. Shema. And then there's a guy, the fourth guy is, he doesn't go and doesn't learn. Ask the Panovich Rav, he doesn't go to Beis Medrash and he doesn't learn. So why is he on the list? He's not a midah of anything. So an Arab that went to the Chveis and the Mizgad and he davened. What shaykhs does that have to us? A guy that doesn't go to learn and doesn't learn. He doesn't go to the Beis Medrash and doesn't learn. So why is he on the list? There's 3 things on the list. Says the Panovich Rav, a beautiful chap. Says, no, it's very good. He causes other people to learn. Everybody says, I don't want to be like Yankel. A guy that just works all day. All he cares about is money. Nobody wants to be like him. It's like, I want to be like that guy. No, he causes me to go to Beis Medrash. I don't want to be like him. I want to be the guy that has some consistency in his life, learns the little daf. Okay. All your kashas on the story later. But here, what does that have to do with this goat? This is Goinas, how to connect this Vart, and Yankel Galinsky and Bereshis to this over here. This goat, Rabbi Isai, doesn't do anything. He's 0. He's there so that I could bring this guy as a carbon. He doesn't serve a purpose. He's here so I could do a goyrel and use this one, goat number, whatever, this Azazel guy, he fits in here. The avodah is done with him. And what does he do? Nothing. He has no purpose in life. He just helps other people. You want to be a person that does it yourself. Says the Gemara, El Rav, but according to Rav, who I'm using this animal as my carbon, so this guy is only there for nothing. As a achrayus, for instance, if someone does an aveira, b'shoigig, he's Michal Shabbos and Shabbos b'shoigig, and he brings 2 carbon chatos at the same time, 2, and he says whichever one is going to survive, that's the one I'm going to use. Then the other one doesn't go lemisa. That's not considered a chatos shenitzkap rebelel. That's a person who brought 2 chatos to begin with to be used. And Mazel over here. This guy never wanted to kill this one. This one wasn't supposed to die. Why? Because this one is still alive and found. I have this guy. It's not like, oh, I might be using him. I'll never use him. So I just brought it as a achrayus. I just brought it stam to help me out over here. So he shouldn't do anything. So what's going on here? Says the Gemara, Kivin the Omar Rava. Rav Savalok Rabbi Yosi the Omar Mitzvah Berishon. Listen to this chap. We hold, like Rabbi Yosi, that there's a mitzvah to use the first one. So you had no business bringing him. You brought him on condition it's going to get lost. It's a lost cause. When you bring 2 animals, a guy brings 2 animals. He has nervin. He's not sure if one is going to survive the long trip to Yerushalayim. Either one could be his chatos. At any given time, I could use this one, I could use this one. But when lichatchila, you come to the Beis Hamikdash and you say, I'll never use this black guy. He's out of the question. Because according to Rav, I'm only going to use him. And I'm only going to use one of the blacks for my Azazel, but the second black is nothing. That is terrible. That's a chatos ha'avod. Mafresh libadami. Nu sugya. Nan. So, in this case, one of them is instead of the Azazel, and one of these 2 dies. Now, l'chayra, if just the simple reading of the Mishnah, whatever Chachamim hold grazes, that exact sheep Rabbi Yehuda holds dies. Right? Rabbi Yehuda is arguing on Chachamim. As the Gemara, Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan, the Omar, Sheni Shibizug Rishon Yira. I love it. Like if you go into another shir right now, I don't want to knock any other shir in the world, but I could just imagine sitting there. For me, it would be very difficult. Reading these words. The Omar, Sheni Shibizug Rishon Yira, the second of the first should graze, Rabbi Yehuda Yamos should die, and you go by there, you pretend you understand what's flying. But if you have a nice picture, everything's great. Sheni Shibizug Rishon Yira. The second animal of the first group grazes. Okay, now see it, picture it. Sheni Shibirishon, Sheni Shibisheni, Yira, Yamos. What's going on here? It's very simple. Yeah, it's all here. Yeah, I know. I didn't have enough from the chas and coming all the way from where? From Yerushalayim, from Beitar, all the way from Beitar to give a course. I tell you, that wasn't enough gaiva. Don't worry, I'll come home and my wife will. She's back, by the way. And nobody told her about the joke. Everything's good. Keep it between us. There's no.
I just want to add, somebody did ask me where they can get that guy to safe.
Really? What, he wants to work in his gaiva or on his anova? It's sold out. Gaiva Delio is sold out, tell him. Okay. It's always gaiva. Says the Gemara, okay, why? Look what's going on here. According to Rabbi Yochanan, this guy must graze. Rabbi Yehuda ups at one and says, don't let it graze, kill it. Kill it. So where does Klal Yisrael get a kapara from? This is Yom Kippur. This is for all of the Jews, everybody. We depend on this goat. Gets kapara from this guy. This guy grazes, this guy dies, and this guy gets shechted. Everything's good. Yeah. The second one of the second group, this guy right over here, he has to graze. Now we have a big problem. Why? Because, Rav holds this one gets shechted. But Rabbi Yehuda can't hold that this one gets shechted. Why? Because according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's nidcha. So you got a major problem. Rabbi Yehuda holds from number one chatos you can't bring, nidcha. Number 2 chatos, he argues on whoever it is, on chacha, it has to die. So now you have 0. Which one is the chatos? No chatos, it's impossible to not bring a chatos on Yom Kippur. Klal Yisrael needs it. That's your mistake. You assumed that Rabbi Yehuda was talking about Chacham's case, but he's not. He's saying his own shtickle Torah. Yamos, not what you say is grazing, but what I say is going to die. You say one grazes, I say the other one dies. I'm not talking about what you're talking about. I'm talking about something else. That's the answer to the Gemara. What's the kasha? If this guy must graze, and Rabbi Yehuda comes along and says, no, the black one doesn't graze. The black one dies, but I can't use the first one. Rabbi Yehuda Yamos, Rabbi Yehuda b'may miskaper. Where's the kapar? Because Rabbi Yehuda holds that it's nidcha. Says the Gemara, Misavers Rabbi Yehuda Asheni Shibzuk Sheni Kai. Rabbi Yehuda wasn't talking about the black one. Rabbi Yehuda's talking about the white one. Rabbi Yehuda Asheni Shibzuk Rishon Kai. He's talking about the white one. And on that he said, I hold this one must die, and the kapara will come from here. So he argues on 2 things. He argues on yesh dichui in animals. I hold it's dachui, memela you have to use this one. He also holds that it's yamos and not graze. 2 things. And like we had yesterday, some say the question is on the va'id. He adds another machlokes. That what? Nishbach adam yomis hamishtalech. If you have a cup of blood from the chatas and you have the sari hamishtalech, the one that's about to be thrown off a cliff. If the blood spilled, the one that goes off the cliff must die. You have to start all over again, bring 2 new goats. Meis hamishtalech. What if the one that was supposed to be thrown off the cliff dies? Yishabach adam. I cannot use the blood. Ask the Gemara Bishlim Rav. According to Rav, the machlokes is does a carbon tzibur die or not? V'seifa pligi b'balei is a bal chaim nitcha or not? Hold on, let me just finish the sentence here. According to Rabbi Yochanan, by the way, Shalom Aleichem Yisachar. Yisachar's in the house. According to Rabbi Yochanan, as we explained yesterday, even according to Chachamim, a Bal Chai is nidcha. So what's Rabbi Yehuda adding? Rabbi Yehuda says, and in addition, a Bal Chai is pushed off forever. Chachamim admit to that. So it's not va'id. They argue just on one thing. Kashya. That's in fact a good kashya. And from a kashya start finished, what's your kashya? Yisachar, what's your kashya? Technical in this kind of sugya. Okay, yeah. No, the blood is from the chatos. You shechted the chatos, the one that goes off the cliff, you don't shech. Now we said the other day that throwing it off the cliff, what was that? Top of Samach Gimel is like shchita. Where was it? Beis, maybe. I don't even remember anymore. Oh, it seems like forever. It was yesterday? Yeah, Daf Samach Dalal Amud Aleph. It was 2 days ago. It was the end of 2 days ago. Shir. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Void. Omar Rabbi Yehuda nishbach adam yomis hamishtalayach. So if the blood spilled, the other one must die. Bishlam nishbach adam yomis hamishtalayach dakati lo yisav mitzvase. What happened? The blood fell, and the guy wasn't thrown off the cliff. So there's nothing you can do. You didn't do zrikas adam. There was no mitzvah done yet with the blood. The mitzvah of dam. What do you do with the dam? You receive the dam, then what? You have to do zrika. You don't do zrika, there's no mitzvah. So since you didn't do zrika, you weren't yoy to that. So the other goat must die. But in the reverse, the one that was supposed to be thrown off the cliff, listen to this, it's beautiful. The one that was thrown off the cliff, that's supposed to be thrown off the cliff. There was a goyrel done, and you have a goat that's about to be thrown off the cliff. He's so scared, he gets a heart attack and dies. Was the mitzvah done? Yes. You know why? Because the goyrel was done. That's all you need, is a goyrel. Why? How do I know that? Because who has to throw him off a cliff? The Kohen Gadol? No. Anybody can. And Memela, any avodah that's not in the Kohen Gadol is not makiv. For Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol does the lottery. And he did the lottery. So we're done. So why can't you just continue sprinkling the blood on the Mizbeach? From the other, why do you have to start all over again, asked the Gemara? You're right. But here's a special chiddush in the pasuk. Yom Chai lefnei Hashem lechaper. He must stand there alive. At Mosai Yezokuk Liyaschai. At Shas Matan Dom Shechaveri. He must stand there until you do this Rikas Adam. Nothing to do with avodah, not avodah. You're right. The rest of it is not avodah. The Torah tells Xer Sakasav, he must stand there like a goylem, alive. Yom Chai until this Rikas Adam. And you didn't have that. Start all over again. Not awesome. Here goes. Loren, here goes. I realize it's just an association. It's not that I dislike shkalim. It's just that I was in this hotel room preparing with the lachats of Pesach coming and 4 shiurim. It made me mishuga. It's like, and the language is different, and the girsais, and the goyin says like this, Tikkun Chanta says like that. It's a whole. Anyway, wow, we're past that. We're done. But we could go back to it once in a while. You have a whole city. They designate a guy. Now the guy is a shomer chinam. He's doing it for free. And he claims that, believe it or not, before he got to Beis HaMikdash, it was stolen. All his money was stolen. So Gnei V'Aveda, the famous guy, he has to make a shvuah. Few shvuahs. He didn't use it, he didn't, fine. But the question is, who is forcing him to make a shvuah? Who's suing him? The Beis HaMikdash that didn't get the money, or the people in the city that don't have a kapara, don't have whatever. So it depends if the people in the city have a kapara or not, if they have to give the chatzi shekel again or not. That's how it depends. So if you remember Masechta Shkalim, the idea over there was that when Beis HaMikdash takes some of the shkalim from the box, all of Klal Yisrael gives it in. But they take for all of Klal Yisrael. In that one pushka, there's a tiny bit, like each coin is for everybody. So even if your coins are on the way, or you get a kapar. So now, depends. If we found out that there was a trumas halishka, that they took the money out of the bank account over there, so now, nishbam like Gizbarim, who's suing the shomer? The Beis HaMikdash. Beis HaMikdash says, the whole city got a kapara, we didn't get paid. We want to get paid. You better swear that you didn't steal the money. But if the city didn't get a kapara, now the city is suing the guy. And they must pay again, half a shekel again. Now, they found the ganav, they found the aveda, elu ve'elu shkolim ben oilim l'shana haba. So, Nimsu Aganav, I have beautiful stories about Nimsu Aganav, but it'll have to be for another day. Maisis Shebediyav Uvda, Shmaka Maisis. Just one in Los Angeles because of, I didn't think about this before. Yeah. We were in Los Angeles in a pizza shop, I don't know the name, that's right next to, they own a fleishik restaurant and a pizza shop together. What is it called? Nagila. There's a little wall in between. We're sitting there and we leave the restaurant and we get into the car. My wife says, "Oi, I forgot my purse." Go back into the restaurant, purse is gone. I go to the owner of the store, I say, I need my wife's purse. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, look in your video. No, he starts drinking a cup a little bit. I said, listen, if you don't get me my wife's purse, you don't go to the video, I'm going to mess you up a little bit here. He says, yeah, he didn't know what he was talking. I got up, I said, ladies and gentlemen, there's a thief here. He said, shh, I'll go to the video. I promise. Goes to the video. He says, I saw something very interesting. I saw one of my employees doing something fishy. So calls the employees. calls the employee out. Kessler, he says, okay, let's check the dumpster in the back, because she took out the garbage. Check the dumpster in the back. A guy dove into the dumpster, took everything out of the dumpster, and they found my wife's purse in a bag within a bag, in the garbage bag, that the whole thing, she was going to take it out later, or whatever. I don't know what the plan was. Anyway, so they bring this lady, and the share is almost over. We have to do Amud Beis. They bring the lady, and I knew that I gave my wife $100. Now the purse was there besides the cash, so I gave her like $100 that morning. So she says she has a whole shmooze in Spanish with the guy, the dumpster diver, and she says, I did not take the money, but I'm willing to pay, because I don't want to get deported. I'm willing to pay whatever you think was in the purse. So how much is in the purse? So I tell her $200. She says, no, 98. And that was the end of that Maisa. Okay, so Nimtza Ganovim, Eilu ve'eilu shkalim heim bein oilim lehem l'shana haba. Now you find the machsiv shekel from last year, find the machsiv shekel of this year, and you don't know what to do. So what do? You cannot use the machsiv shekel for next year's machsiv shekel. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, oilim l'shana haba. No, you could use it next year. Listen to this. Remember this. Rabbi Yehuda says, use the half a shekel, the extra ones, for next year. My time there, Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rava Kasav Rabbi Yehuda, choivas shel shana zu, krevis l'shana haba. I could use whatever I'm chayiv this year for next year. But that's a big problem, because we see that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold this. Eisvei abaya, par v'sor shel Yom HaKippurim. Right? The goat, the bull that we're discussing, the whole mesechta of Yom Kippur. Sha'avdu. They got lost. And then you also have the Bezdin told Klal Yisrael to do Avodah Zarah, Rahman al-Islam. They did it, so they have to bring a bull and a goat. So this goat gets lost. And they brought another one instead. And then what? Of course, you have to fill in the gap over here. What happened? It was found. Kulam Yemusu. All the ones that got lost must die. Divi Rabbi Yehuda. Oh, that's a shtickle problem. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you can use it next year. Why do they have to die? The Yom Kippur goat used next year. I see things are turning in your head. What? Yeah, okay, we'll discuss age soon. So Rabbi Elazar and Shimon say you let it graze because it doesn't die. Now, so you hear the question. The question is, why, according to Rabbi Elazar, according to you, they can use a chayva next year. Why can't we use the goat next year? Turning to Amud Beis, Uri Ben Mattisyahu, and for the success and Gashmius, and especially ruchnius of his grandchildren. Says the Gemara, the reason why you can't use this goat next year Yom Kippur, Shani Korbanos Tzibur, the Omer Tavi Omer Yoshia, Omakro. This is a famous pasuk. I didn't even print it, even though we need a word from the continuation. I would typically print. Zois Oilash Chodesh B'Chotchay Le Chotchay Hashana. It's a triple lashon, not a double lashon. So it's Omer Darsheni. What's going on here? 3 times Chodesh in a row. So the Gemara darshins Amr Torah Chadesh. It's not Chodesh, it's Chadesh. Make sure it's new. Va'aveli Karban Mitruma Chadasha. Once Nisan comes along, you got to bring brand new karbanos. You start all over again. That's why I can't use it. You're right. According to the you could use it. Machsa shekel is money. It never flipped into a carbon. So I could use it next year. We're talking about a carbon that's a physical carbon. Hateinach Sayir. That's a great reason, because Sar comes from the communal pot. Par, the bull. Who buys the bull? The Kohen Gadol himself. Ma'ikil Meimar. There's no pasuk on him. A Chadesh. Says the Gemara, Gzeira par otu Sayir. The Gemara is going to say this many times, maybe 4 or 5, I didn't count. We have a Gzeira, one for the other. And par is not a problem, but it's because of the goat. Umishum Gzeira Yemusu. The Gemara asks this question 5 times. Well, that's why it should die. Let it just graze. Why kill it? The whole point of Yoshia is it's better to get a new one. It's only a mitzvah. If you brought from the older stock, it's not the end of the world. You're just missing out on a mitzvah. You like to do mitzvahs, but it's still a good carbon. But you're not going to kill another animal just because of this little mitzvah. You know what the problem is? You cannot use this goat for a chatas next year because you're basing it on a lottery that happened last year, and the lottery only lasts for 1 year. You have to redo the lottery. Says the Gemara v'neisi v'nagril. Okay, so do another lottery. Somebody's not going to see that you did another lottery. He's going to think that the original lottery works even for next year. That's great. A shot on a goat. A bull doesn't have a lottery. Nobody's going to think anything. This, I was wondering what's going on here. It's the same kasha answer, sort of. Taisi Shalom says that the Gemara thought it's a better answer. This is a stronger one than the Gemara slugs out. Then the Gemara thought again, the next one is better. Because you have a gzeira, the Rabbanan thing, so that's why animals should suffer like that. Gzeira, right? The reason why we kill a chatas is halacha mishmesina. We don't understand it. It's not something we can understand. But the chachamim would not put themselves in that position, make a chatas die. And he said, Gzeira mishum chatas shemesu ba'aleh. What's going to happen? You're going to put this chatas on the side for next year, and next year you're going to forget that the kohen gadol died. Chatas shemesu ba'aleh. The bull. It's not a chadash shemesu b'aleh. It's owned by the tzibur. Gzeira soyer otu par. I'm going to make a gzeira. Same thing. You're right. It doesn't apply to the goat. Applies to the bull, but one because of the other. Umishum gzeira yemusu. Elo gzeira mishum chatos she'ovra shnasa. Oh, we're concerned that it's going to be more than a year old. As the Gemara concerned. It is more than a year old. What happened? You have a goat right before Yom Kippur and you want to use it next year Yom Kippur, so it's already a year old. More than a year old is Over Shnasa, right? It's on the list somewhere. Here, number 5. Over Shnasa must die. This is the Gemara beautifully. There's 2 years. There's a year based on 365 days, solar year, and there's a lunar year. So according to Rebbe, that says, Shana Tmima, when it comes to Bati Arich Chayma, I buy a house in a place that's surrounded by a wall, I can redeem it for a year, but what's a year? 365, goes by the solar. What if they add another month to the year? Oh, they're sheni? I don't get that extra month. It's 365. Divri Rebbe. And if there's an extra month, the seller gets it. But here's the point. It's possible that I bring my carbon 8 days old, on Yom Kippur, and 354 days later is Yom Kippur again, but it's not a year yet. It's not 365. And this animal's less than a year old, and I can bring it. So Rabbi said, real quickly, I'm going to do a little tshuva here. I have to look into it. But based on this Gemara, I always said, and made fun of people here in the Shir, that celebrate their English birthday. Now, I'm not going to take back that the year is based on Yashka's birth. So that's a problem. 2021 is 21 years from the time Yashka was born. But to say a person is 365 days older than he was last year is perfect. The Gemara says, according to Rebbe, we go 365. That's how you do it. And one last thing, because we're talking about a birthday before Shacharis, it says in the pasuk, Yom Huledes is Paroi. That's the concept. That's where you see birthday in the Torah. The question is, Paroi thought he was a god. Gods aren't born; they don't have birthdays. The answer is, and this my wife would love, even if hashkafically it's not your birthday, you have to celebrate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. אחינו כל בית ישראל, הנשאו בצורת ושיביו, עומדים בין ביום ובין ביבוש, עמוקים רק עליהם, יוצאים מצוין לבוכה, ומאפי לא יום, שוב יוכלו להשתוב על הזמן, קוראים לנו מהרמיין. Oy vey, that's a bad one. Why is it bad? Yeah, people look at me like nuts. You can't.
You documented the whole thing. It's correct. That's
What's that? Tzadik Chassan?
I just want to say, 3 weeks
Yeah.
vacation all over America, 5 different states. One thing that kept me sane: do the daf right after chakras.
You did it every day?
Every day.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.